Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, investigations are continuing into a shocking crash on the Tasman Bridge yesterday that brought Hobart to a standstill. Thousands were stuck for hours in peak hour traffic, with road safety advocates saying the incident is a harsh reminder of the need to overhaul the city's road network.
This is a moment Hobart's commute home was halted. Security cameras show a truck flipping on the main link between Hobart's east and west, just before 3 yesterday afternoon. But when things looked to be cleared up, an attempt to move the trailer went wrong.
It became unstable and lost the contents onto the roadway, which necessitated a clean-up of the roadway, and that was ceramic material.
The clean-up closing the entire bridge, with the impact visible from above and below. From Sandy Bay to the southern outlet, the Domain to Dunoon, peak hour was paused, with commuters forced still, some up to 4 hours. Extra Derwent ferries helped relieve the strain, but many still stranded by nightfall.
We were obviously forced to send traffic, as we normally do, north on the Brooker and over the Bowen Bridge to try and relieve some of the pressure.
The truck driver was treated in the Royal Hobart Hospital, his injuries not life-threatening. While understanding of driver frustration, both police and the government defended their response.
All sorts of things really worked against us, and I think given all those circumstances, I think we probably got a pass.
It was a very difficult situation. There will no doubt be a review, and more will be said in due course.
One Hobart councillor calling for improved communication, warning a growing population will see more gridlock.
Better messaging, better planning for how we deal with these situations and get the word out to maybe delay your trip.
The RACT hoping more will switch to public transport.
Often disruption gets people thinking about a new way of travelling. There's always an opportunity to try something else.
While Labor wants answers on the progress of the Northern Transport Corridor Plan.
In the City Deal Progress Report last year, it said that the government would announce the transport mode for this corridor by the end of the year. They have not done that.
That work needs to be done. It is ongoing, and those services will be delivered.
For Hobartians, though, it's the drive home they will never forget. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Pokies will soon be punted from all Tasmanian RSLs when the last machines are switched off in Devonport. Although the decision will come at a cost, the branch has vowed to pull the plug by mid-year.
Refreshing its image, RSL Tasmania is returning to its roots.
There is a conception by the general public that RSLs are about pots, palmies and pokies. And I think our forefathers would disagree with that. For them it was about commemoration service, and it was about veteran welfare.
Making the bold decision to ditch poker machines statewide.
This is not an RSL pitch. This is the right thing to do.
Devonport's RSL is the last branch in Tasmania still offering the machines, but all 20 will be gone by July this year.
I support the decision of Devonport RSL to remove the pokies from the RSL in Devonport. I support them focusing on the needs of their veterans, their families, the community.
A recent study into Australian Defence Force veterans found that trauma exposure, post-traumatic stress disorder and depression are all linked to gambling problems. While the RSL's decision has been widely welcomed, there are still some questions being asked.
The principle is good, but will they just move to other venues that potentially have pokies?
I think it's a great thing. The thing is though that I think they use a lot of the funds from the poker machines to fund local community and support people, so I just don't know how they're going to function without that income.
RSL Tasmania says the change will impact Devonport's financial stream and is now calling on the public to help out by simply visiting their local branch. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
A management shake-up at Ambulance Tasmania has been labelled a terrible look by the state's health union. It's been announced Chief Executive Joe Acker will step away from the role temporarily, but unions argue it couldn't have come at a worse time.
In a time of turmoil for disgruntled paramedics, They're crying out for consistent leadership.
People have no confidence in leadership. They have no faith that things will be followed up when we have issues that are reported.
Ambulance Tasmania has revealed its current chief executive is taking on a role in a separate department up until April, with the possibility of an extension.
To hear that he's going for an extended period is disappointing. That we'll lose that leadership when of all times we need it now.
The organisation told staff in a memo it's committed to a smooth and seamless continuity of operations during the transitional period.
There's absolutely no doubt that we have got good leaders in Ambulance Tasmania, but the problem is that we need a real leader, we need a strong leader, we need someone in that permanent position.
Fearing no real change will be driven while interim positions continue to be held by decision makers.
One of the difficulties with someone who's acting in a role where the incumbent is likely to return is that they won't make serious decisions.
The Department of Health says current Chief Executive Joe Acker will continue to work closely with Ambulance Tasmania once he's left the role, while also reiterating the organisation's commitment to timely and quality care. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Former Premier Peter Gutwein has broken his silence on a proposed stadium, telling Tasmanians they shouldn't be afraid of ambition. It comes as Labor accuses the state government of hiding the true cost of the project.
Speaking on the baby he brought to life, Peter Gutwein says a stadium is fuelling rather than derailing Tasmania's AFL dreams.
Look, I think what it's done is actually ensured that every single president of every single other AFL club is now backing our bid.
Out and defending his record, the former Premier says his government made multi-billion-dollar commitments to health and housing alongside a stadium.
But governments can walk and chew gum. And importantly, the stadium itself, backed by a team, will become an economic enabler. We should not be frightened of ambition. We should not be frightened of aspiration.
Their sentiments echoed by the business community.
If we get the stadium and we get our team, it's going to be 11 different clubs bring their supporter base to Tasmania.
But Labor says the finances for Mac Point don't stack up.
They're pretending that there is a free lunch, that they can have their cake and eat it too.
The party says taxpayers will be stung with $20 million a year in hidden interest costs for the project.
These are the sorts of details that the government are leaving out. These are the sorts of details that aren't being discussed on a day-to-day basis. These are the sort of details that we'd like to see.
Business and tourism groups are also calling for the federal government to match the state's $65 million commitment to upgrade UTAS Stadium.
With capacity upgrades, we could bid for more events at this venue, which would bring greater visitation from around the state and around the country.
And the former Premier's response to being back on the front page?
I'd like to say I don't read the Examiner anymore, but...
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Legendary sports broadcaster Bruce McAvaney is adding some star power to a new race meet on King Island. He's heading there for the first Miners' Rest Cup, but don't expect him to saddle up behind the mic.
From calling the sport of kings,
What a nuisance wins the fastest Melbourne Cup,
to calling the king of King Island.
it's McSwain taking this field into the back straight.
The king of sports commentary's calling is to King Island itself. Bruce McAvaney locked in for the brand new Miners' Rest Cup.
He's in a couple of horses with me, and I just know he's a real grassroots racing man. He just loves the sort of off-Broadway scene.
And the new meet is exactly that, a picnic race devised by 6 Ballarat trainers who wanted to revive the island's flagging racing scene after falling in love with it on previous trips.
I just thought it was sad for it to sort of wither on the vine, I suppose.
The organisers have now shipped horses across from Victoria, ready to race in front of around 700 people heading to Curry for this weekend's unique draw card.
I can't say it's going to be bigger than the Melbourne Cup, but it's probably going to be better than the Melbourne Cup. As long as the beverages are cold, I'm sure everyone will be happy.
And although McAvaney is known for his commentary wizardry...
What a princess! No, she's a queen. She's Winx.
His comments this weekend will be heard solely by the punters trackside.
His words to me were, he might stuff it up, and I said, well, Bruce, there's only 6 horses and they're pretty slow, so he'll have plenty of time to think about it, but we couldn't sway him.
Wouldn't it have been special? Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Applications are now open for round 2 of the Teddy Sheehan VC Memorial Grants Program. Eligible ex-service organisations can apply for up to $5,000 for wellbeing initiatives and $10,000 to cover refurbishment costs.
We have to care for our old veterans, particularly the frail and those less able to use our facilities, so improving the toilets, the disability or accessibility toilets has been really important.
We say thank you as a community for the service and for the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we enjoy today. So this is a token of our appreciation.
A total of $50,000 in funding is on offer. Tasmanian children living with disability have hit the waves at Kingston Beach for their first Starfish Nippers session of the year. The modified program provides an opportunity for those who aren't able to participate in the state's mainstream surf lifesaving initiative.
Many of the families with children with disability, they feel like they are isolated. They feel sometimes they are judged by the community when they go out. So to give them a safe and welcoming environment, that's a huge objective of this program.
More than 8 classes will be on offer. They hope to reach more than 200 participants, with the uptake already surpassing last year's numbers.
The Hobart Hurricanes are still riding high after Sunday night's victory against the Sydney Thunder. The thrilling match saw Nathan Ellis become the second Hurricane in BBL history to score a hat-trick.
I was sort of deflated at the time. I thought I missed out on the hat-trick and the boys were spraying me for going with a shorter ball for what I thought was a hat-trick ball. But yeah, obviously really excited when we got the news.
The team will be in Perth tomorrow night, battling it out against ladder leaders, the Perth Scorchers. Tasmania's Amy Smith has landed a blow at the Under-19s Women's T20 World Cup. She clean bowled her American adversary for a duck.
Oh, that's a beautiful delivery.
The Aussies thrashed the USA by 9 wickets. They reached the target of 65 in less than 9 overs. Nicole Frayne has ended up best of the Tasmanians in the Women's Tour Down Under. She finished 16th overall, around 2.5 minutes behind winner Grace Brown, who toasted her victory with an ice-cold Fanta. Georgia Baker and Anya Lowe finished 13 minutes off the pace.
Good evening. Hobart, a nice, warm and sunny 31 today. Don't complain. Summer is short enough as it is. Launceston 28, Devonport reached 25 and Burnie 22. Ouse edged out Bushy Park and Strawn to be our warmest today with 33 degrees. Grove 31, Flinders Island a high of 27, King Island 25, Lowhead 23, Lyawini 22, 1 degree warmer than St Helens. A few showers over the east coast today, St Patrick's Head 9 millimetres. As well as that cloud over Bass Strait, there is a front heading our way as well from the west. That cloud with the front stretches back to Western Australia. A large area of cloud continues over Queensland and the tropical north. Tomorrow the front shall pass through, followed by a cooler southwesterly airstream. A trough moves over Victoria and New South Wales. The west southwesterlies will extend throughout during the morning and will increase to 30 knots over all coasts, whipping up swells to 3.5 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued for all Tasmanian coastal waters. Forecast for tomorrow, a shower or two for Hobart and 22, 21 the top for Geeveston and Bothwell, both with showers easing. Launceston showers easing and 27, Devonport 23 degrees and 25 for Cressy. Burnie, showers in the morning, 20 at the top, 20 for Strawn, a morning shower as well for Curry and 19 degrees. And for St Helens, showers and 25, 23 the top for Swansea and Orford. UV tomorrow at an extreme 11. Conditions improving on Thursday, but temperatures still on the down low. Fine but partly cloudy weather on Friday and similar conditions heading into the weekend. Sunny and 32 in Perth, cooler and cloudy for Adelaide, early showers over Melbourne, a sunny 30 in Sydney ahead of a late shower there. Cloudy but still warm in Hobart, it's 28, cloudy in Launceston, 27 right now, mostly cloudy in Devonport and 22 degrees. Those 30-degree temperatures aren't going to be with us for a little while now, Louise, but tomorrow we do have not a total 5 am, but a very high fire danger across the state with that cold front coming through. Things are going to cool down for a little while, but of course it's going to remain fine for the big race meeting at King Island on the weekend. They've already got the best beef, the best cheese and the best gin. Now they're going to have the best race meeting as well.
I reckon we should try and nab a spot over there, Murph. What do you reckon? Thanks for that.